Early voting is underway in Arizona, which is one of the 7 swing states that will help determine the results of the presidential election. Our polling from the end of September has Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump in a tied race to win the Grand Canyon state. But voters there are deciding on much, much more than just the next president. The Senate race could determine the balance of power in Congress, and a measure on the ballot will decide the abortion laws for that state. Ron Hansen joins me now. He is a national political reporter for the Arizona Republic. Thanks so much for joining us, Ron. So first and foremost, give us a sense of what are some of the top issues that you're hearing voters in Arizona are most concerned about.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think it really comes down to 3 key issues this cycle. Right now, at the top of everyone's list would be the economy. This is something that this area was among the hardest hit by inflation of 2 years ago. Gas prices and home prices had gone up quite a bit, and that's something that is eased in the last few months to the past year or so. But there's still, I think, significant anxiety about that. Number 2 would be the border security issue that so much of the rest of the country worries about. But in Arizona, it's more personal. This is a border state. This is really ground zero for a lot of that. And then number 3 would be abortion rights and what to do about it. This state had a 19th century law that was upheld earlier this year by the state Supreme Court and was held to be the current law in Arizona. The state legislature repealed that under pressure, and now voters will decide whether to enshrine abortion rights into the state constitution in November.
Ron, you probably are aware of this on that abortion measure. In at least 6 states, when that issue is brought before voters, each time they've opted to protect reproductive freedoms. What's your read on how voters there feel about the measure in Arizona?
I think Arizona is going to be following the lead of what we've seen in some of those states. You talk about Kansas or Ohio. These are states that are traditionally conservative leaning even to this day. And abortion rights has carried the day with voters. Last night, we had a Senate debate, and among the surrogates for the Republican Kari Lake was Charlie Kirk. He's the head of Turning Point USA. He acknowledged in an offhand remark that he thinks that abortion measure will pass with voters here in Arizona. I think Republicans, conservatives, they concede that this state is heading in the direction that others have gone as well.
For the top of this introduction, we talked about the sort of down ballot races. Give us a sense of how critical the Senate race is there in Arizona, and explain to us why it's so critical for this particular election.
Yeah, so this is the seat that is currently held by independent Kirsten Sinema. She won this in 2018. It was the first time a Democrat won the state in a Senate race in 30 years at the time. She has since lost Democratic support. She became an independent. And Ruben Gallego, a 5-term member of Congress, is challenging for that seat against Kari Lake. She is a former local Fox 10 newscaster here in the area. She's really risen to prominence as a surrogate for Donald Trump and has really been outspoken as a supporter of that America First sort of rhetoric and policy positions. This has been a tough race in terms of the way it's been waged on both sides. They've had pretty harsh words for each other. This is a race where Gallego has been ahead in most of the polling and has a significant financial advantage. Lake had a pretty good night last night in the debate. It's the only one in the race.
Arizona's election system was the subject recently of a lot of scrutiny following the 2020 election. 60 Minutes spoke with Republican Stephen Richer, who was a Maricopa County recorder in 2020, and was insistent that there was no fraud in the election. Let's listen to a bit of that interview.
This is unhinged. I'm looking at the voter registration database right now. These lies have to stop. This is as disprovable as saying 2 + 2 = 5.
And the reaction was what?
The reaction was significant.
3 people have been charged for making threats against him. How concerned are you hearing voters are when it comes to having a free and fair election? And what does that mean? For some people, it might mean something else.
Yeah, this is really sort of a partisan issue, unfortunately. There's a lot that Arizona could take lessons from other people on, but elections administration does not seem to be one of them. We've had some very, very close races in recent cycles, and those races have, under the most intense scrutiny, held up as well run and relatively problem free. Certainly, systemic problems that changed the outcomes, there's absolutely no evidence of that. Stephen Richer lost his primary earlier this summer, and he will be administering this election for Arizona's most populous county through this election cycle. It's a very, very tough job these days because of so many folks trying to sow doubt about it. That's primarily a Republican position, and there's been no foundation either in court or under greater political scrutiny as well.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, is it only free and fair if your candidate wins? I think that's what's at the heart of this. Ronald Hansen from the Arizona Republic, thanks so much.